All right, we're here with my brother Chase.
What's good, Carson?
Man.
How you living?
Good, man, good. This
good.
is the president, the pioneer of college NIL and things of all that matters. So we brought him here just to talk a little bit about NIL and investments for the college athlete, because nowadays there's a lot of money, a lot of capital in NIL, and we just wanted to get him here.
Clearly a lot of money. Y'all doing it big out here.
You see
got
the
crypto in the bag.
shout out Crypto Arena, but we wanted to start off. Chase is one of the pioneers, one of the big stars of NIL. Can you tell us what NIL is and how it empowers the modern day student athlete?
Yeah, so NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. In 2021, college athletes, through a slew of court cases and a change in NCAA restriction, got the right to monetize our name, image, and likeness. Mm-hmm. So when I first signed my contract to UCLA and became an NCAA athlete back in 2019, I signed away that right. 2021 got it back. And for the first time ever, college athletes were able to monetize. So that was in the form of selling merchandise or doing brand deals or endorsements, things like this, where you could profit off of being yourself off of the field. Mm-hmm. It's led to a whole bunch of things now. Rev share is a big topic of discussion. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you off camera what the rev share situation,
For sure.
At schools like UCLA is. But it really, in 2021, everything changed in the college athletic landscape, primarily from the athlete perspective, and I think it legitimized an already budding small economy.
Definitely, I agree. And to switch it up a little bit, we want to talk about UCLA. It is in Beverly Hills, basically, Westwood, 10 minutes from Hollywood, things like that. So you're bound to see famous folks, celebrities, all things in between. So with that, on your day-to-day, what does networking mean to you? Yeah,
networking is about two things. Number one, be brave and be yourself, and know that if you're somewhere, you're supposed to be there. As much or more than anyone else. Mm-hmm. And you have to walk around with that confidence. And then also finding ways to add value. When you're speaking to someone, every conversation innately has value because it's another human being. Always pick up that phone or always take that call. If somebody sends you a Zoom invite and you're free, it's like, instead of just scrolling on your phone or whatever, just see what's up. You might as well. Mm-hmm. So that's the first, being open to conversation, being creative, being an optimist as far as creating value and adding value. And then two is the follow-up. Mm-hmm. This is the part that really sets apart. Mm-hmm. You go to a networking conference or you do an interview or you meet someone cool. It's just like relationships. If you like her, you got to follow up. Right. It's the same thing. In the business world. If there's the initial introduction, things are great. Cool, but it's all in vain if there's no follow-up, if there's no, sequential plan and things to come after.
Right, and I think that's very important because people are busy, they might forget, it might slip their mind, but the follow-up is really where it's at.
100%. And, I think there's a good balance in knowing when you have a conversation, you're like, that's the extent that's supposed to go, or there's not really much we can do for each other right now. Keep you in the back of mind going forward. It's part of being an optimist.
Definitely. And a quote I got from my guy named Marcus Peterson, he said, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you.
Right.
Yeah. And that just blew my mind because I was always like, networking is who you know. But he said it's about who knows you through your name, image, and likeness, through your athletic accomplishments, things like that. So shout out my guy, Marcus. And that just brought me a whole different perspective in it about who knows you.
And day to day, how do you treat people? How do people who you know see you treat people that you don't know?
Right.
Because that informs how they feel about you. If people think that you're just an all-around solid person, you get looped into more things than you may primarily add value to, just out of trust and respect.
Right.
And so having a good name is one of the most valuable things you can have.
Definitely. People do business with people who they like. If they don't like you, they're gonna look another way. They're gonna go to their best friend or their old colleague or something like that.
Absolutely.
For sure. Definitely. And to go to the NIL space, how does one build their brand?
I think building a brand first starts with the person. You're not a brand. Like, people are always like, you're just your brand. No, you're a human being. You're a person. The brand is informed by that. So as long as you stay true to yourself, I think, for me in my process, I really took time, especially during COVID, and I was like, what am I about? You know, if I were pitching myself to a brand or looking for a job or just telling somebody about myself, how would I describe myself? I came up with 3 words: believer, winner, provider. And I looked at different things I had done in my life that practically show me embodying those 3 things. And then going forward, whenever I do a deal, whenever I interact with people, I check myself and I say, am I living by the things that got me here? You know, a lot of this is informed by my faith, informed by my family, how I was raised, which makes it authentic to me. To someone else who has a different background, different upbringing, different belief system than I do, is nothing wrong with them having a completely different 3 words. And maybe the brands that they work with showcase that difference, or the way that they do content showcases that difference. As long as it's true to them, it can be more consistent. I think to the viewers that resonate with them, there's more harmony, and you'll see more return on investment whenever they pour themselves into something, similar to how I see return on investment when I pour myself into something.
Definitely, wholeheartedly agree, man. And speaking of that, let's talk investments.
Yeah.
With NIL, we know you were balling throughout the college landscape. You know, you don't have to toot your own horn, but I'm gonna do it for you. You feel me? So let's talk investments with NIL and how. Let's start with yourself, how you do that and which avenues you entered, and how other student athletes can do it and benefit off of their present money and turn it into future assets.
I think one of the blessings of being able to experience college before and after NIL was I got to experience college only living off of my stipend. And so I built the habit saying, well, my monthly budget is my stipend. And in fact, when I started making NIL money, at the same time, I started getting my grad stipend, which was double my undergrad stipend. So I felt like I was rolling in money before I even got an NIL check. That being said, I chose to invest every dollar that I wasn't donating out of my NIL money. And, you know, 5 years later from when I started that process, I'm so grateful and so thankful that I did that, just because I was investing in the market, primarily ETFs, which over the past 5 years, the public index has been amazing.
Yes.
So I'm definitely living off the fruits of making that decision early on. I think past just monetary, having the knowledge and creating a brokerage account and creating the habit of putting money there, monitoring it, evaluating stocks, evaluating businesses, evaluating ETFs, forming my own personal investment strategy is the most valuable thing that I got out of making money in college. In addition to that, I formed a LLC, a nonprofit, learned how to pay taxes efficiently. There's just so many things that I learned because I was able to be my own case study.
Awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And if you need to learn things like that, that is what we are here for. The Score First podcast is here for things like that, to learn how to build equity, invest your NIL money, and all things in between, so you can end up like my guy, Chase Griffin, right here. Coming back to you from the Score First podcast, my guy, Chase Griffin here. And I wanted to ask you, how did your achievements and habits in college help set up a smooth transition into your professional life?
Well, I think college athletes, maybe more than any general demographic on a college campus, have the discipline, teamwork skills, motivation, confidence to be great in the professional and especially corporate space, more than they even realize. And I think for myself, everyone was always like, well, when you transition to work, you're always going to be busy doing this. For me, I feel like I've never had more time in my life. I'm going from working basically 3 jobs to 1 job.
Right.
And so for me, I think the transition, whether it be from the skill set perspective, but also the experiential perspective through NIL, of learning how to negotiate, learning about the media industry, learning obviously about the sports industry, help inform my decision making and my value add today in my office.
Definitely, and the time management is a huge addition, because you know, with college football, there's check-ins, there's meetings, there's all things in between, and time management really helps you have a smooth transition into professional life.
Absolutely. Athletes are ready.
Fully ready, definitely. And on that matter of negotiation and talking to brands and things like that, since you have your fair share of dealing with brands, I wanted to ask you, what do brands look for?
I think brands look for a few things, and every brand has different KPIs or key performance indicators. I think the brands that worked with me saw me as someone who, A, could protect the brand, had a brand of my own that elevated their brand when mentioned alongside it. And I think they saw me as a good producer and good talent. When it came to actually being on camera and speaking and executing a creative directive, I was able to do that. When it came to coming up with good creatives that were able to tell my story, infused with the brand story, infused with whatever campaign they had going on at the time, I was able to execute on that. So I think it was both a combination of reputation, alignment, and just being able to flat out execute on the work that needed to be done.
Definitely. I appreciate that insight for sure. And to finish up, Score First is we teeter towards the real estate side. We have a lot of great agents on staff with a lot of experience and advisors who have been in the game forever. And I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on real estate investing as an asset for student athletes?
Well, our office invests a lot in real estate. I know for myself, I'm not as experienced. But what I will say, any alternative or any asset class that is invested in, if you do it with expertise, you're going to get return. There are major industry leaders that do a great job in the real estate space, and it's because they have tried and true formulas. They have people who do the right diligence, and they make opportunities that are good to invest in. I think something I admire about you is you're going about it the right way, where you are both participating in it, but also learning alongside your experience. And God willing, someday I'll buy a crib from you or something like that. But I already know, you keep your mindset, keep your heart, you'll excel in whatever it is. If it happens to be real estate, as long as you find the right expertise in that, you'll shine there too.
Yes, sir. Definitely. I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your time. Score First Podcast. Thank you.